about Donald Trump. What's interesting is that the left almost never says them. Instead, they spend a lot of time telling you how Trump is a fascist who poses an imminent and terrifying threat to our constitutional order. Sounds pretty scary. Is it true? Well, consider the major freedoms protected by our Bill of Rights, the document that makes America distinct from all other countries. Freedom of speech, freedom of worship, the right to keep and bear arms, due process under the law. Now, take a close look at today's news. Who exactly is threatening those freedoms? Is it Donald Trump? Whatever his faults, it is not Donald Trump. It is the left. And they are doing it more aggressively than they ever have before. As usual, their critique of Trump is pure projection. If you want to know what the left is actually doing, listen to the way they attack other people. Start with a foundational freedom, speech. If they can tell you what to say, you are not free. There is nothing they can't make you do. That's where the founders put it first. It's the freedom that comes before all others. The left has spent decades trying to weaken the First Amendment. They've done it in the sneakiest way possible by creating phony hate speech exemptions out of thin air. So far, the courts have not accepted this idea, the idea that you can limit speech simply because someone else doesn't like it. So the left has a new plan now. They've allied with big corporations to make it impossible for people who say the wrong things to make a living in this country. You may have heard of a company called PayPal. It's an online payment platform, the biggest. If you want to make money online, and many people do, PayPal is essential. In a recent interview with the Wall Street Journal, the CEO of PayPal, Dan Schulman, explained that diversity and inclusion are his company's top values. But of course, he doesn't mean it. He means the opposite. Like most on the left, what Schulman actually wants is utter conformity, a world where only approved opinions are allowed. Last year, PayPal banned Alex Jones from using its platform for saying things they didn't like. They've also banned anti-Muslim activist Laura Loomer, the publication VDare, and a number of other people and organizations whose speech they believe should be silenced. Schulman admitted that his company takes guidance on who to ban from the Southern Poverty Law Center. That's an entirely fraudulent organization that works as an arm of the Democratic National Committee. According to Schulman, quote, the line between free speech and hate, nobody teaches it to you in college. Nobody defined it in the law. Well, that's ridiculous. It is very much defined in the law and has been for 50 years. In 1969, the Supreme Court conclusively decided that hate speech does not exist. But it doesn't matter to Schulman or any of his allies on the left. To them, the First Amendment is merely a legal obstacle. It's something to subvert rather than celebrate. And PayPal is just one small example of this. Across the country, the left is working to crush any organization that stands in the way of its power. In New York State, Governor Andrew Cuomo is trying to shut down the NRA. Why? For the crime of disagreeing with his agenda. Cuomo is harassing financial companies that do business with the group, and it's working. The media celebrate this, just as they celebrate the endless attacks on Fox News. Their entire nonprofits whose only purpose is to close the network you are now watching. They are tireless, and they are well-funded. If they someday succeed, you won't hear a word from the left about censorship. No, they'll celebrate. An entire news media with one perspective. That's their goal. Total conformity.